Newly released data paints a concerning picture for renters in Australia. Immigration continues to rise, challenging the Albanese government's pledge to reduce migration levels. Despite commitments to scale back immigration from record highs, the government's efforts appear increasingly insufficient amid a housing shortage. The Australian Bureau of Statistics recently revealed that in the last financial year, Australia welcomed 445,000 migrants, significantly surpassing the 395,000 projected for 2023 to 24 in the May budget. This represents an excess of 50,600 people, approximately equivalent to the population of a regional centre like Albury. Louis Christopher, Managing Director of SQM Research, predicts that renters will continue to face challenges even as immigration numbers stabilise. He notes that low construction rates, coupled with a rapidly growing population, will sustain pressure on tenants well into 2025. While rental vacancies have increased slightly compared to the crisis period of 2021 to 2023, this improvement is largely due to people opting for shared accommodations rather than an actual increase in housing supply. Exorbitant rental prices have forced many Australians to make significant compromises in their living arrangements, with more people now living under one roof. New South Wales and Victoria remain the primary destinations for migrants, housing a combined 62% of the new arrivals. New South Wales recorded a net gain of 142,470 migrants, while Victoria added 132,500 residents. Queensland also saw significant growth, accommodating 74,900 newcomers. These three eastern states collectively welcomed 78.4% of all new migrants in the last financial year. The influx of migrants has exacerbated housing shortages, particularly in Sydney and Melbourne, where rents have risen by double digits annually. High housing costs in Sydney have prompted many locals to relocate to other states, with Queensland gaining nearly 30,000 residents from interstate migration last year. Rental vacancy rates across the country remain low. Brisbane's rate is 1.1%, slightly below the national average of 1.4%. Perth faces even greater challenges, with a vacancy rate of just 0.6%, the tightest in Australia. Meanwhile, Western Australia experienced the highest population growth rate in the nation at 2.8%, driven by interstate and overseas migration. Australia's overall population grew by 2.1% in the last financial year, the highest rate since the early 1950s. Of this growth, 81% was attributed to net overseas migration. As natural population increases, births minus deaths accounted for just 19%. The Albanese government had aimed to reduce net migration to 260,000 for this financial year. However, this target is becoming increasingly unattainable, as current figures suggest only a modest decline in immigration rates. From July to October 2024, there were 115,530 more arrivals than departures, marking a mere 12% reduction compared to the same period last year. Abul Rizvi, a former Deputy Immigration Secretary, called this shortfall a significant political embarrassment for the government. He predicted that the mid-year economic and fiscal update would likely reveal that projections for net overseas migration were far too conservative. The government faces criticism from various quarters for its handling of the immigration surge. While some argue that population growth could help Australia avoid a technical recession, its impact on GDP per capita remains limited. Critics note that many new arrivals, including international students and backpackers, are taking low-paying jobs in agriculture and hospitality, contributing little to economic productivity. Opposition leader Peter Dutton has proposed cutting annual net migration to 160,000 and reducing permanent migration by 150,000 over 4 years. However, Dutton's office has offered mixed signals about the feasibility of these targets. Australia also faces issues related to overstayers and temporary visa holders. Approximately 750,000 international students, 240,000 temporary graduates, and tens of thousands of asylum seekers, skilled workers, and COVID visa holders are in the country, contributing to population pressures. The number of individuals overstaying their visas has risen to 75,000, a figure considered unusually high. To address these challenges, the Albanese government has passed migration reform bills aimed at streamlining deportation processes and negotiating agreements with third countries to accept non-citizens from Australia. These measures, however, have yet to significantly alleviate the housing crisis. That's all for today's analysis on Aussie Pulse. We'll continue to bring you comprehensive coverage on the issues that matter most. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated on the latest developments shaping Australia.